How many times this week alone have you looked at yourself in the mirror and just thought, I'm still here, but I'm not really living? You wake up, you do your normal routine, you show up, you're holding it all together, probably by a thread, at least from the outside, you're holding it all together. But something on the inside has you feeling like things are just quietly falling apart. Does that sound like something that you're going through? Because I want you to know, if you are, you're definitely not alone. And more importantly, you're just never meant to survive like that. You were truly meant to live, to thrive. And that is the quiet difference between surviving and thriving. And today I'm going to break down the 4 signs that you are in complete survival mode and how to reclaim the life that you were created to live. So I'm going to go ahead and just dive right into these 4 signs that you're in survival mode. So number 1 is that you're already tired when you wake up. Now, I don't know about you, but I can honestly sit here and say that there's been times where I might have slept for 10 hours. And as soon as I wake up, I instantly feel tired. And if that's you, this is definitely a sign that you could be in survival mode. And again, I'm not talking about you needing more sleep. I mean that soul deep exhaustion, no matter how much you sleep. It's kind of feeling like your eyes are open when you've already, it's kind of that feeling like as soon as you wake up, you're already ready to go back to bed. And it's not because you're lazy. It's because your spirit feels heavy. You feel heavy. And you move throughout the rest of the day like you're some sort of machine. You get dressed. You do your morning routine, whether it's making breakfast, you check all the boxes, all the beautiful boxes. You smile when you're supposed to, but behind your eyes, there's this person that's quietly screaming for rest. That's quietly screaming for this calmness spiritually and emotionally, and maybe even physically. And the truth about it is that no one talks about it. Everyone just coasts right on through until, they get enough time off and they feel like the time off is going to fix the situation. But the burnout isn't always loud. It isn't always something that can be fixed with time off. Sometimes it's quiet, it's compliant, and it's like this numbness that you feel. And it's if your heart isn't it's as your heart isn't in the life that you're living. And it might be time to ask yourself, why is that? Because in order for you to figure that out, you have to start asking yourself those tough, hard questions like, why? Why do I feel like this? And you have to get to the point where you're okay with doing a life audit. Like, you have to get to that point. And number 2, you can't remember the last time you truly felt peace. And I know that is deep for some people. You laugh, but it doesn't feel like you're laughing because it's genuine. It fades real quick. You take a break like the vacation I just spoke of, but it doesn't feel like rest. Your vacation feels like more of checking boxes. It doesn't feel like your body and your mind and your soul is able to truly recuperate from the rest. You're constantly bracing yourself for the next problem, for the next thing that you're going to have to solve. It's like you're waiting subconsciously for the next fire that you have to put out. And I can talk about it because I have been there. I've had those moments where I was just bracing for something bad to happen. And then you say to yourself, oh, well, if it can go wrong, it will go wrong. But is that the right mindset? Is that the right way to think about something like that? That's not peace. It's not. That's survival mode. And you, my friend, was not created to walk on edge all the time. That's not why we were created. That's not why we are here. Real peace, the kind that's in here, that's so deep, it doesn't come from getting everything right. Sometimes it's okay for things to just be wrong. Like there's nothing, absolutely nothing wrong with things just being out of place. Because it comes from knowing that you're not walking through this life alone. It comes from surrender. It comes from trust. It comes from letting go of the things that you cannot control. And it's like anchoring yourself into something that's going to be bigger. And the only way possible for you to do that is to let go. Number 3, you keep showing up every single day, but you continue to feel invisible. It's like you do everything that needs to be done. You don't ask questions. You take care of everyone else. You're the most dependable person, reliable, and you're considered the strong one. That's what it is. You're considered the strong one. But let's be honest. Who checks on the strong one? I'll wait. Tell me in the comments. If you're the strong one, tell me in the comments who checks on you. Because that's going to be a hard one. If you can answer that, I mean, thumbs up to your support system. Because most of the time, no one checks on the strong one. You're pouring out of that cup that's already empty. You have this much left in your cup. Like you're barely holding on, but you keep showing up because that's what strong women and men do. They suffer in silence. They just show up. They keep forging ahead. You know, especially like I said, women that's in their 30s and 40s and men that's in their 30s and 40s. You've been programmed. You've been taught to fight through anything that you're feeling and continue to show up. But even warriors need rest. Even queens and even kings need to be taken care of. Just because you carry it well, which confuses people, believe me, it does. If you can carry your stress well, you'll confuse the heck out of people. People will never know that you're hurting here. But that doesn't mean that hurt and that hurting isn't heavy on you. And no one can see that weight that you carry, and it starts to feel like you don't matter. And then that's when we get into danger zone. But hear me out. You are seen. You are needed, and you are very, very, very visible. You're not invisible. Number 4, you stop hoping for more. You just develop this mindset that this is my life. This is who I am. This is who I'm meant to be. And maybe you've told yourself that it's okay. Other people's dreams are more important than yours. You've stopped reaching. You've stopped believing in the things that could be different in your life. But friend, let me tell you, that's not the life that you were made to live. I promise you that. God did not create you just so that you can just push through every single day. He didn't breathe life into each one of us and make each one of us in his own creation just to watch you survive every waking moment. No. I believe that God wants more for you. He wants more for me. And that does not equate to perfection. That's not a perfect life. but it's a real one. It's one that you can look back on and say, I lived the life that I was supposed to live. It's a life where you walk this journey and you trust that what you're supposed to be doing and where you're supposed to be is exactly where you're supposed to be and what you're supposed to be doing. And sometimes that doesn't come with understanding. And sometimes that path will not make sense. And it's okay, because you were not made to survive. You were made to live. And I cannot stress that enough. And the hard part about it is, I know that you're going to want clarity, because we all do. You want to understand. You want to know why you were given this burden to carry, or why you've experienced this pain, or why you're supposed to go down this path. But maybe, just maybe, and I want you to take a second and think about this. Your weakness was never a punishment. It was a platform for God's strength. And I don't mean to get spiritual, but I'm really passionate about this, because I want you to think about all of God's disciples. What if every last one of them waited for logic before they did what they were told to do or what they were asked to do? What if all of them waited for logic? Peter didn't wait for logic. He just stepped out of the boat and walked on the water. He didn't know if he could or couldn't walk on water. Joseph was thrown into slavery, but he was thrown into slavery before he led a whole entire nation. And Job, do we even need to get on him? Because he lost everything and then was restored with double. So again, I'm not trying to get on a spiritual bandwagon, but what I'm trying to say is that none of his disciples needed answers. They just trusted the process before they even understood it. So what makes you any different? And if this spoke to you today, if something in your spirit spoke to you, then I want you to comment and say, yes, that's me. And now it's time for you to choose something new. It's time for you to move forward. And instead of surviving, I want you to be thriving. And no, it's not going to happen overnight. You're not going to understand the process sometimes, but you have to trust it. And when you trust that process, things will start happening, but you got to take the first step. And if this encouraged you, like, comment, subscribe, share this video with anyone who needs to hear it or you feel like needs to hear this, and let's walk this journey together, because you were truly made to live full and boldly and beautifully. You were made to live. I'll catch you in the next video. My name is Naisha Nicole. I appreciate each and every last one of you. YouTube's going to recommend the video right here. I suggest you check it out, because again, it may change the way that you think about anything that you're going through. I appreciate every last one of you. I thank you. Peace.